Connects with my passion for math. Was when I think about autistic savants. Well, they're very. Some of them are well, I think 1/10 of all autistic people are savants, and that means math. So, all right. Anyway, the autistic savant, a different kind of frightened. He cannot be calmed by arms. He cannot be soothed by hands. Seeing for him is far from believing, and he cannot be deceived by images. All he knows is his own skin. All he feels are his own nerves. And all he believes is that he has not been hurt yet. And when he counts, whether beans in a jar or bricks on a wall, when he calculates and when he remembers, well, take this from one who has done her due of counting. He's hoarding. Not money and not words. He's hoarding numbers. Everything is a number. An integer is as bad as a fraction. A fraction is as bad as irrational. Everything is as schizo as pi or e. Everything is a burden. Everything is an axiom. Everything is filed solely under itself. And take this again from a number woman. Just because it's everything he hoards doesn't mean he cares for none of it. On the contrary, he cares for all of it. Everything is evidence. Everything is judgment. Everything is separate and equal. He cannot crawl under covers. He cannot be sheltered by roofs. And since he cannot people his spaces, he spaces his people and wanders and wonders far, wide, and narrow. Hello again, everybody. I actually have 18 books, not 17.
18.
This latest little chapter, or not that little, 40-something pages, was published by my husband, John. So it's called Surviving the Alphabet, and it's an unthemed, my first unthemed collection, and it's just poems that I've written through the ages, through the years, some new ones, some old ones. So I'm going to read some short poems from that book. And then I'll read stuff from the math poem book, and so on. One of my first poems is called The Back. In bed, the back is safe. The mattress bears you up. Softer than a wall, harder than the air. Flexible and imperfect, like someone else's back. This is called Early Adolescence. Not only did I believe, but I prayed with my hands in the praying position, leaving, however, a space between the two thumbs, so God could get in there, and pressing together the two pinkies, so God couldn't get out. This next poem is called Very Bad Dream. Two men have shot each other. As they lie dying, they call back and forth, goodbye, goodbye. It's like the reflections in two opposing mirrors. I have a small book, it's not here, called The Temper Tantrum Book. It was published in '83, a long time ago. And so here are two poems like The Meaning of Islands that were not in that book. You probably wrote them afterwards also. My Mother's Temper Tantrum. It had been nice if she'd had one. Instead of the instead of the ahas. Come to think of it, maybe she did. Maybe long ago, at some dinner table or over some banister that I never knew, she had one every evening. Maybe she was as good at it as I am. And maybe one day, after hundreds and thousands of them, she suddenly got tired. Maybe one day she sadly decided to switch to the silent treatment, realizing the noisy treatment wasn't doing any good. And this is called My Mother-in-Law's Temper Tantrum. My first husband. Gee, this is fun. I never realized how great this could be. Why didn't I try it before? Now I know what you see in it, Marion, and I think I'll do it more often from now on. Impossible Dreams, written for John. I would like to be for him something that doesn't come to pass, something more than flowers or trees, something more in the line of a theorem. It's not my fault that even I shall come to pass. If I had a choice, I would not come to pass. If I had a choice, I would be a theorem. I would like him to look at me as though he believes I will not come to pass. And then I could look at him and say, you're right. I might split up into many cases, but I will always be true. These poems, which were in Philadelphia Poets a few years back, Dreams for Two, they're called. There are 7 or 8 of them. I'm only going to read 3, I think, 2 or 3 of them. Dreams for Two. And the epigraph is, when you share your daydreams, you also wind up sharing your night dreams sometimes. So, this is number 2, School Dreams for Two. In response to my real-life teaching job, John's subconscious decides to take a dream teaching job. See, I teach too, he tells me the next morning. Ah, but was he prepared? Did he show up in the correct classroom? Did he lecture with his mouth open? Had he, in fact, actually been hired? On the other hand, have I done any dream translating at all? Can I read even dream Japanese? Do I know even dream chemistry? And in the morning, can I claim I translate too? I'll just read the last one. But there are several. There's bathroom dreams for two and flying dreams for two. We would compare our various recurring and non-recurring dreams. This is called power dreams for one. He dreams he gets appointed king of the army, and he doesn't like it because he doesn't know what to do. I never have dreams like that, except that sometimes I, too, don't know what to do. This next poem is called Dream of Setting Limits. And I've been, and when I have time, I've been an activist in fighting against the death penalty. It's been a passion of mine, essentially always. So this is a dream that I had. It's called Dream of Setting Limits. I've hosted birthday parties, Hanukkah parties, Christmas parties, wedding parties, so now they're asking me to host a hanging party. Yep, there are a few people they want to hang, and they want me to host the hanging. No way, I exclaim. Capital punishment in the country, capital punishment in the state, capital punishment in the city, but I'm definitely not allowing capital punishment in my own living room. Sure, I make up problems for the departmental final in my living room, and sure, I make out checks to the IRS in my living room, but setting out refreshments for a hanging is something to which I can say no.